What is going on, YouTube? Dr. Way here, and I know this is going to be, this has been a long-awaited video. I've been trying to find the time to make this commander video. It's very important, and until you have the information to develop your commanders and make informed decisions, I've been telling people to straight up just wait until I come out with the video. I try to give some general commander tips to just get them started. So let's go to the command. This is my main account. Hold on, let me gather this real quick. It's my main account, and I decided to do it on here because I'll be able to show you more stuff on this account then. Okay, so with which, how do I start this? First thing that I would do is just honestly, I don't really care who you really are. Your first commander probably should just be Sun Tzu for about a multitude of different reasons. For one, he's AOE, so he works very good in the open field. He can work on your wall, and in early game, you might get your city attacked, and you having Sun Tzu on your wall makes a hell of a difference. Now, later stages of the game, it won't matter who you have on your wall. If you get hit by a fucking max rally, 2 million troop rally, you're dead. I don't reinforced. It doesn't matter who you got on your wall. At that point, the best team, the best defense on your wall is the damn bubble. But first week, maybe, shit. Sometimes not even the first week if you're going against the right opponent. You might as well just bubble. But having him helps if you don't have the bubble or you're not online. He reduces damage taken, 10% health on infantry, and you'll notice that health is the best stat to have in the game. I'll go into why later. There's videos that I've probably mentioned it before. And the damage taken reduction is a very good stat to have because it's multiplicative, not additive. So it's health, for example, is like a factor in the equation, but damage taken is like flat out. You're going to take 10% less damage. Same thing with skill damage. It's multiplicative. You're getting flat out 20% more skill damage. I think there might be diminishing returns, maybe, but I would have to check. Okay, and when you expertise them, you hit up to 5 targets. Realistically, you're not even going to hit 5. You get a big increase on damage factor, and then you gain rage for each target hit. So why is he good? He's has some defense to him, which is very good in the open field. He has a lot of damage reduction on the map and while in garrison. He regenerates rage. He has does some damage with skill damage. He's the best epic in the game, and I think for that reason you should really focus on the Sun Tzu. He's an epic, so he's easier to level up than let's say a Martell or Richard will be. Shit, any legendary commander, right? I think it's to get to 60, literally half the XP requirement, like almost. It's not even funny how easy it is to level up a 60 epic compared to a legendary. Not to mention the stars. It takes a lot of stars to get legendaries to 60. Okay, so now this is a special request of Gala. He's like, I want the talent trees, right? But before that, I would say as a skill configuration, you want to max the first skill, right? The second skill only works for city garrison, not any garrison. So if you're in a flag, this doesn't do anything, and most of the time people just skip that skill. And then you really want the second, the third, and fourth skill. So you usually get the first skill max, like always on any combat commander, and then you skip the second skill, and then unlock the next 2 skills, and then hopefully you get them to land on these last 2 skills. Boom. Talent trees. This is the best talent tree for city defense. I do use them on my wall. You definitely want to get these talents first. They are insane. But you only get them when you're in garrison. And then because you're in your city, you're going to be running mixed troops. So you really want to work on the skill tree because the infantry tree gives you stats for infantry, but if you're not all infantry, then it's not as good, right? So you usually go all skill tree. I would work on getting rejuvenate first from the skill tree after you get all of these talents. Then I'll make my way to clarity. Then get feral nature, and then I really like undying fury for the rage gain. And then these are bonuses that it doesn't matter what troop type that they are. Boom. If you were going against a Cav rally, this is actually pretty good, like really good, and I would probably use a talent reset if it was like an important fight to switch to that. But we'll get into that later. Now, that's Garrison. What would I do for the open field? Now, right now, this is the build I would use because I can bring all infantry units, but in the early game, you probably won't be able to bring all infantry units. So I would go over to rejuvenate first, right? Because it's the early game, I would get that. I would make my way to clarity because with these points, at least you're getting them for all troop types. In the infantry tree, you're only getting it for infantry. So if you don't have a lot of infantry or it's like 1/3 infantry, it's actually better to get these talent points over here. Okay, and then I would just max out the skill tree, really. I mean, there's no reason not to. I would definitely get Undying Fury next. I would get these general talent points here. These are good, generally speaking. And I would work my way really up this side of the tree. Because this side of the tree over here on the right side usually has the march speed, and it's only to speed up infantry units. So you really won't feel the benefit of that speed because you're going to be slowed down. Okay, you sped your infantry up. Now it's your archers that's going to be slowing you down, right? So realistically, you really can't. I'm spending a lot of time on Sun Tzu. It really is. He really is the best. So yeah, well, that's the wrong for here. I would get stronger body. This is just a lot of health, and that will help. And just keep working your way up. I would just grab these. You don't want to get this because you have to have all infantry units. So I guess at this point you got 8 left. I mean, you could go here, grab that. This is general. You do have additional skill damage. I guess 1 point into Naked Rage. Well, oh, no, I don't like Naked Rage. Just boom, there you go. You would do something like that. But by the time you get Sun Tzu to 60, you should be extremely close to having. Well, it depends on how fast you rush it, but you should be close to trying to get an all infantry march. And then at that point, you would just you would max out this tree. You've seen that build. March speed is very important in the open field, and that's why it's good to usually focus on one troop type because you can increase that march speed easier. So you're looking at something like this. Once you get there, I like the health. Now, you could have, in fact, I wouldn't have put it there. I would have put those 2 points here and here because that's better, but I tweaked. Okay, so that's Sun Tzu. And the reason why I want to focus on Sun Tzu so much is because he is going to be a primary commander, right? Now, once you get other commanders, you'll probably become a secondary, but I still use him primary for Garrison, right? Now, who can you pair with him? A very natural pairing, especially for free to play, I would say is Joan of Arc. And I don't even have to even talk about her all too much. She's busted. She has this buff for 4 seconds that can give nearby allies 30% of stats. That's insane. On top of that, she's giving you 50 additional rage. Insane. And she gives it to 5 people, herself and then 4 other targets. And then you can get her at like 5-5-1-1. You can start using her as a primary gatherer, or a secondary gatherer if you don't want to get her past 10 at that particular point. And her talent tree isn't all that good, right? Like this tree sucks. Integration sucks. Support's pretty good, but you basically use her as a primary gatherer. right? So use her as a primary gatherer. So she's going to be a secondary, right? So you can leave her actually at 37 would be the magic number, really. I've gotten her higher because I don't have nothing else to do, and then I like the mark speed here, but you don't have to have that. Use her as a secondary with Sun Tzu because Sun Tzu regenerates rage, is kind of tanky, does a little bit of damage. You combine that with the support that you get from Joan, the buffs that you're going to be giving your allies, and especially if you're free to play, you're not going to be the one doing the damage, but these other guys are. So you like giving them the health or the defense or the attack. That really makes all the difference. And then in order to get that, 4 seconds and stuff, you do have to expertise her. So I recommend after you expertise Sun Tzu, you immediately, and I really do mean immediately, expertise Joan. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you're all infantry. There's very few people, with the exception of, and even Wales. Like, I think Wales diminish the effects. Really don't underestimate the effects of these buffs and debuffs. I think that Wales do understand the power of Ethelflad, and then that's probably somebody that you should be working on. You can use her as a primary if you want. You can use her as secondary if you want as well. You get her through expeditions. Just keep pumping out the expeditions. Especially once you get to 30, you can start getting her a little bit more reliably. So it's from these guys here, the rally and the garrison defense. And you get another one at 40. Once you start getting these boxes right, you'll start being able to get Ethelflad really easy. And with her, you max out the first skill, the second skill. I go in order. Some people like this skill because it's for combat. And I can agree to that to a certain degree, but I think what gives you better value is using her for barbarians and getting that experience over the long term. So with that being said, I just like to go in order. Max this skill first, then the second one, then the third one, then the fourth, and I think it works very well. Um, for talent trees, like this is like what you would do if you were going to run her as a PvP. You would get rejuvenate, very important to restore that rage. Then I would go to strategic prowess, and then I would get armed to the teeth. Then I would go up, up and finish out. You know, hmm. You could honestly finish out the whole support tree first. Get this. It really depends on what you want to do. Definitely get rejuvenate first. You can finish out the seal tree and just get 1 point in the cage of thorns, and that's really only when you get her expertise that you really need that last point, and you only need 1 point in that. Strategic prowess, and then just pick up these talent points in the leadership tree. You run her mixed troops. I'll get into like the perfect configuration of how many of each type to bring. It depends on your civilization. And then like for example, you can run Sun Tzu mixed troops, and you can bring this as a secondary, even if it's just like 5-2-1-1 or some shit. Like it's really the debuff that's busted. So if you're bringing that debuff where you're doing AOE damage and you're reducing the health, defense, and attack, like that's very powerful. So especially as like a medium spender or somebody that does spend a little bit more money in the free to play that can do a little bit of damage, Ethelflad is a great support option to pair with your Sun Tzu. Now those are like the early game pairs that I recommend, and then this is a special request from uh, Gallo. So this is the build that I'm rocking on Mena, and there's kind of downsides to what I'm doing. So when you fight in the field, right, Gallo, this is specifically for you, Gallo, and everybody else who wants to listen. When you're fighting in the field, um, the idea is to get off damage quick. So a really good talent is really this is because at the top end you'll be getting 15% more damage for the first 10 seconds of the fight. I mean, they're probably trying to run away within the first 5 seconds, right? So with that being said, you might get an active skill off. But it's like, see, after using an active skill, you increase the damage. Well, what if you don't even get the active skill off, right? Or this only happens after a skill is used. What if you don't get the lock onto the target? Now, I'm willing to bet if you have minus Sal, they're not running from you. That probably there probably is some truth to that. But if you wanted a build where it's more hit and run, this is more of a I'm gonna stand there and take it type of build, which Mina isn't necessarily good at. He's more of a I'm gonna get off my skill damage, type of guy, and then try to run away before you melt me. So maybe, and it's not rally build. Don't look at that. This isn't like a rally build. In fact, I would probably prefer this build for the rally, but because you're going to be able to sit there and take it. But if we're talking about like open field, I would definitely max that out, and then you're getting a little bit of march speed here, and then you just basically just don't get the clarity because it only counts if you actually hit the skill, and there's a good chance they're just gonna run away. So, but in the early game, everybody's slow. They're running mixed troops. You might be able to get away with the clarity, and I don't know which one more, because 15% damage is just nutty. I mean, most of these battles aren't lasting more than 30 seconds. That 10% is nutty. 15% is pretty nutty. So I would do something like this. Rejuvenate first, always. And then I would get the skill damage reduction because mine is squishy as fuck. Then I would just make your way up to Rallying Cry. If you want, you can get the extra talent points for the Rage. And then I would just work out on finished out your talent points over on this side. So that's what I would do for you, Gallo. And then basically run that Sal behind that Sal that you got. Um, Now I've kind of made myself more for barbs because like I'm not a Cav player like that, but um, you would probably just skip this skill and just try to get these other two skills. But I really like the barb damage. I think that it provides a lot of because you look how many objectives are on the map, right? Minus Sal is the gold standard when you're rallying any objective that's PVE related. So I don't quite mind getting it, but and really what you want is the Cav stats because this is already half as good as level 1 as it is at level 5. So I really don't even want points to go into the Sal. The Sal's last skill. I really just want the first 3 skills, and that's the majority of it. And once I get my Sal to 5-5, 5-1, I'm completely satisfied. I would consider him done at that point. I don't think it's worth that. The basically 380, I think, sculptures it would take to finish him out. 100% not worth it to me. Especially since you can get them through gold keys. What are some other recommendations? Once you kind of get your feet wet and you get your Joan Sun Tzu, I think Boudica is a nice option just for barbs. You can use her as a secondary. Um, Guys that spend money, Richard's going to come out in 38 days. I think it's nice to get him. If you're like somebody like me, high spender, I think 5-5-5-1 is the gold standard. I wouldn't take him past that. I wouldn't expertise him. And for the medium spenders, 5-5-1-1 is a good stopping point. And then for the lows, 5-1-1-1. And he's still good as hell because essentially the biggest thing on Richard is the sustain and the damage reduction. You're getting that right away. So as far as support is concerned, as a free to play, you're getting the support value just with the first skill being maxed. You get the tanky value with the second skill being maxed, and then you get the stats with the third skill being maxed. And all this does is augment the first skill, pretty much. Okay, so I think Richard's a nice option who comes out early. I'm going to ignore Martell for now. I think Martell is best. It's best in the hands of a medium spender or a whale, just because, at least early on speaking, because he's more about doing damage than he is about like supporting. Bjorn is a very good support option, and he does a lot of damage. Very good in the hands of a medium or high spender, a whale as well. Mainly because if you expertise him, you'll make enemies take more skill damage. And when you're talking about putting him in front of like Ethelflad or Sun Tzu or um, any guy that does a lot of skill damage, that can be pretty good. So those are some of the recommendations. I'm trying to see anybody who sticks out to me. I think Belisarius is a great commander to focus on, mainly because he is barbs, and as you're going to need more barb commanders, he's very relevant. He's very fast. You can get out of combat very quickly, and I'm using him for barbs. But like me personally, if it's kind of weird to get into Belisarius without having all calves. So that's why I kind of put him on the back burner. So I think a lot of guys, what they'll do with the belly is that if you're a whale, you'll train up a full march of cavalry super early on, right? And they'll use them for the speed. But as somebody who's putting infantry in that march, I think he needs to be all caps, mainly because he gives you 30% defense. Now you'll get march speed still, regardless of what troops you bring when you leave combat. But it's harder to leave combat when you have infantry units, right? I think he works better with all caps. So I can't recommend him super early on, but like as a mid-game commander building up towards him, use him as a peacekeeper first. I think he's better like that. You could just pair him with Babers. Quite honestly, I think that I don't like the Pelugis, the Pelagius. Some people will catch that joke. Um, I don't think Pelagius is more of a sit there and take it type of guy because of all the rage he's trying to generate the healing. With the Belisarius, he's trying to get in and get the fuck out. And I think that's what Baybars is trying to do: get in, get the fuck out, because he has that march speed bonus for leaving combat as well. He has the cavalry attack. He has the AOE, and you want AOE in the field to hit multiple targets, and he can decrease the march speed. So to recap, to recap, I think everybody should go Sun Tzu Joan, and you make that their first march. Or if you know what you're doing, I think Jorn behind the Sun Tzu can be very powerful in the hands of especially the right players. Um, you can work on Boudica after you get Joan and Sun Tzu done. Let's say you're working towards the Belarus. Some people will catch that joke too, the Belarus. You know, you will work on your belly and get him up first as a peacekeeper, and then he'll finally become a primary for uh, cavalry once you get him up. I can't. I think that's the main gist of it. And then like since Richard comes out pretty soon, about day 38, like using Richard with like Joan or Richard with Ethel or Richard with Sun Tzu, very good. So your first two marches could literally be like a Sun Tzu Joan and then like a Richard Ethel, and you can run the mixed troops like just run the mixed troops. I'll talk about Richard's build later. Um, that's my recommendations. I hope this helps. I hope you've seen some talent tree builds that to help you out. Legion 4 for life. See you in the next video.